I'm jumping in my car, I'm gonna have a little fun. The Doghouse Network's on my radio dial. Big Dog's taking care of business for a while. If you're listening to another station I don't understand, 'cause nobody does it like Thom Abraham.
Give us a call, Steve.
He's a northern-bred, southern-fed, slick-talking guy. Listeners in his posse are the Junkyard Dogs. The SEC from Tennessee to calling them hogs. From Gainesville up to Lexington to the Tide and Tiger Land, nobody does it like Thom Abraham.
I guess I'm on here. Am I on? Can somebody respond?
I called it hump day.
Uh-oh. Guess what day it is? Guess what day it is? Huh? Anybody? Mike. What day is it, Mike? Let's guess what today is.
It's hump day.
Hey, good afternoon, everyone. Yeah, we got lots to get into on this hump day in the Doghouse. And you know what? I've left the first hour completely open. All right, it's got a wide open first hour for you to get in. NBA Purgatory Tournament began last night. 17 NBA experts from ESPN picked the Miami-Atlanta game. All 17 of them picked the Miami Heat to win the game.
You lose. Good day, sir.
All 17 of them were wrong, as the Hawks actually played something resembling defense and beat Miami from beginning to end, really. I mean, the final was 116 to 105. It wasn't that close. I mean, it could have been much worse. I had texted Grizz last night. I said, if this is within 10 at the end of the third quarter, the Hawks are going to lose. Well, Miami pulled within 6, 7, 8, and then the Hawks had a little burst right at the end of the third quarter. It was over. Atlanta led by 24 at one time and was terrible from the free throw line. Could have been much worse. But they live to play the number 2 seeded Celtics now in the first round and get beat by in 5 or so. But hey, they're in. They're there. Atlanta dominated the boards 63 to 39. I mean, it's just crazy. Now the Heat can still get in. They got to play the winner tonight's, Pelicans Bulls game and so on. And out west, the Lakers Timberwolves game was an abomination. The takeaway there is that neither of those teams look like they should be in the playoffs. 45 turnovers in the game, 41 fouls, including the Lakers' Anthony Davis fouling Mike Conley's three-point attempt with less than a second to go in the game. And then Conley drops off the throws. And then the Lake Show wins in overtime after the T-Wolves led most of the game. So it's Grizzlies, Lakers in that first round. That's what we thought it was going to be. But watching that game last night, it looked like, I don't know if we're going to get that. Now, speaking of playoffs, I am running a little social experiment, okay? I'm going to run a social experiment. The NHL playoffs begin on Monday. The NBA playoffs begin over the weekend because this isn't playoffs. This is the Purgatory Tournament. The regular season in the NHL ends Friday with a couple of games that won't change anything. And the playoffs then begin on Monday. So they have a 16-team bracket. And in the NHL, they do not reseed. So I have a contest for you. We have a bracket, and if we're going to have a bracket, we should have a contest. Okay? It's the 97.7 ESPN The Zone Puckheads group. That's the name of the group at ESPN.com. I should have called it the Thom Abraham Show Puckheads because I this is not an official 97.7 ESPN The Zone contest because I don't want to rope the Zone into something I don't want to rope the radio station into something they don't want to be a part of. And clearly they don't want to be a part of it. You might not want even to be a part of it. That's why it's a social experiment. But the bottom line is this group has one person in it. That person would be me. Do you want to play along? Make out a bracket. I will put up great prizes. You know what I got. I got golf. I got food. I got stuff, okay? I got stuff. Now, the link to the bracket, the link to the group is at my Twitter and my Facebook accounts, and I posted it on the radio station's Facebook account as well. Maybe the radio station will retweet it. I tweeted it on mine. I mentioned the station. Maybe they'll retweet it. Now, the NBA does not reseed either. So Grizz will make up an NBA group, again, at ESPN.com, because you all have your ESPN accounts from the basketball, from the March Madness. Maybe he'll make up an NBA group, hoop heads. I got puck heads. He'll maybe do hoop heads. Maybe we can get him to do that. And then let's see who wants to jump in that as well. I will join Grizz's group if he joins my group. Buckhorn's Kyle Wright made his first start of the season last night for the Braves. It didn't go too well. Gave up 4 hits and 4 runs in 3 innings. He left with the Braves down 4-1, but the boys rallied and then hung on for a 7-6 win. The Trash Pandas won in Birmingham last night as well. It was their first road game of the year, and they got the win there 9-2, I think it was. So later in the one, Kerry, voice of the Trash Pandas, will join us for Kerry's Corner, a little country hardball talk with him. We always catch up on what's going on with the Trash Pandas, then we talk some baseball, my baseball guy on a Wednesday. Friggin' Rays won again. God. It's so annoying. Yeah, nobody's going to the games. It looked like the race at Bristol. I watched like a half an inning of that yesterday. Nobody is at the game. They're not even opening the upper deck. This is an abomination. That team should move to Nashville, like immediately. They could fit, their crowd could fit in whatever they call the Nashville Stadium right now. Is it still First Tennessee Park? I don't think it is. Whatever it is, their crowd that they get now could fit there. I mean, they had like most of the lower bowl was full on the sides, but the outfield is empty. The upper deck is closed. They don't deserve baseball in Tampa Bay. Playing in St. Petersburg, in a mall. They don't deserve it. 11-0 baseball team, and they don't even go look at it. The only baseball that should be in Florida is spring training. Ticks me off. And Shohei Ohtani set an Angels franchise record that I'm calling BS on. You know I love Shohei Ohtani. I called a little bit of BS on my Bruins with their record, and they set another record last night, 133 points, most ever in a season. I'm calling a little bit of BS on that because when the Montreal Canadiens set the record at 132 back in the 70s, there was no extra point in overtime. You either won, lost, or tied. That was it. You either had a win, a loss, or a tie, and they realized we can't have ties.
He tried to end a game in a tie in the United States. Heck, that might be listed in Revelations as the cause for the apocalypse.
So the Bruins get to play for an extra point after every game. So last night, Shohei Ohtani set an Angels franchise record by allowing 2 or fewer runs for his 10th straight start, passing Nolan Ryan's record of 9 straight starts back in 1972-73. It carried over. Started in late 72 and carried over into 73. In 1972 and 73, in those 2 years, Nolan Ryan pitched 47 complete games out of his 80 starts. 80 starts, 47 complete games. Now, I'm no math major, but that's about 58% of his starts complete, 9 innings. Do you know how many complete games that Shohei Ohtani has pitched in his 66 starts over 5 years, by the way? Now, remember what I just told you. Nolan Ryan had 80 starts in 2 years. He averaged 40 starts a year. Shohei Ohtani has been pitching for 5 years in the major leagues. He's got 66 starts. Yes, he was out for a whole year. I get that. Do you know how many complete games Shohei Ohtani has? Oh, that 5 years, that would be 0. So a Nolan Ryan 2-run or less start way more impressive than a Shohei start. In fact, a Ryan start would be like 20 to 30% longer than an Ohtani start. You see what I'm saying here? Are you guys getting the math? If Nolan Ryan pitched 6 or 7 innings a game, he may have never given up a run. Like, no runs. I mean, chew on that for a minute. Also into one, Griffin Pritchard will join us from the Alabama State games. These things are coming up in Birmingham, June 9th through the 11th, and feature some real interesting competitions. By the way, speaking of Birmingham, I saw something. I retweeted it. I don't know the dates or what. Or it's today, I guess. Our friend Brandon, I think he's giving away 3 tickets to the Kenny Chesney concert tonight in Birmingham to a military member. I don't know how he's doing it. I don't know how you would get those or whatever. I've just said it now on a radio show. Brandon, who is I think his handle on the Twitter is like @CrimsonBagman, something like that. He's giving away 3 tickets to Kenny Chesney concert tonight in Birmingham. I love Kenny Chesney. All right, phone lines are open. 256-576-4977. 256-576-4977. Text the show, 732-9TA show, 732-982-7469. You can use that bad boy throughout the show. You can use it 24/7. I read them on the air. My personal tweeter is @Thom Abraham Show. Station's feed is @97.7 ESPN. You can watch the show there as well as at our Facebook page @97.7 ESPN. The show's streaming live on WZZN TV, on Twitch, and on YouTube as well. 977ESPN.com has links to all of that stuff, plus podcast versions of the show, archives, the whole 9 yards. Get the apps while you're at it. You need the apps. You need the apps so you can get the pods and so you can get links to Zone 2 and Zone 3 and Zone 4 as well, all our alternate streaming channels for more great programming. Our entire broadcast calendar is there at 977ESPN.com. For example, I'll be doing my show from Charger Park down at UAH from noon to 2 on Friday. And then an hour after my show, we'll have UAH baseball against Valdosta State. And I'm trying to get Grizz to come down and join me for the afternoon in the booth. We'll see. On Saturday, I'm doing a doubleheader down at. Now, that'll be on Zone 2. I believe that's on Zone 2. I don't know. And then on Saturday, I'll be doing a doubleheader down there, and Joe Hunk is joining me. Joe Hunk played baseball at UAH. And Joe Hunk will be in the booth with me for those 2 games. So that's good stuff. Fired up for that. We have the Huntsville Havoc tomorrow night on air with Steve Mulaton from down there at the Iceplex. And then he'll go to Knoxville with them, and I'll be on Zone 4 Friday night while we have Alabama and Auburn on air. See, there's just so much. You got to go to the calendar. And also follow our social media, because if Captain Cool is doing his job, he's going to be continuing to update that, tell you where you can find all these games. All right, over there in a little glass room playing the Play Doesn't Matter and the stacks of wax and answering the phones and keeping us on the air, he's figuring out what he wants to compete in the Alabama State games. It's the one and only Coach Chris.
Who in the blue hell are you? What is your name? It doesn't matter what your name is.
I'm the producer of this show. If I didn't step up, you're nowhere. I put this thing together on a spit and polish.
I think this is one of the traits of a really good producer. Keep the talent happy.
I'm all jacked up on Mountain Dew. Now, Tom. Hey, Tom.
Testosterone high today. Testosterone, whatever the f*** it is.
It really doesn't matter what you think. All right? It really doesn't matter what you say.
Any of you play sports?
Delicious. I may fade in and out a little bit today. I may have some technical difficulties during the show today. We're going to find out. Yankees are playing against Cleveland as we speak. You know what I'm saying? And yes. Afternoon baseball is a wonderful thing. It's a beautiful thing.
It always is. I might be fading in and out as well because I'm getting ready for baton twirling as I'll be competing in the Alabama State
that's
games.
the one I thought you would go for.
I was looking forward to it, and I've been training real hard this year, and we're going for silver.
What about esports? I thought either baton twirling or esports would be your deal.
I saw that there was wrestling as well. I don't know if there's an age limit on that because I'm gonna get thrown around, and my knees. I don't have it in my knees at all, but I was just kind of seeing if you
don't need your knees for wrestling.
Yeah, you do. That's how I hurt my knee. So I actually hurt my MCL wrestling. So
really,
but yeah, oh yeah. You can get bent
like tree trunks.
Yeah, man.
My legs were like tree trunks when I wrestled. Man, I did.
Shoot,
guy tried to grab my leg, I'd kick him right in the
head.
head.
Actually retore a kid's ACL during a match because we both took a shot on each other and we just kind of pulled each other at the same time and kind of pulled it and popped. And sure enough,
shoulders are the problem I have. I used to get a little shoulder injury every once in a while. Is what got me. But I was, you were a little guy. It's different for littler guys.
Yeah.
I wrestled 177, which went to 182, and during the season as the season went on. So I for me it was a little bit different. I was pretty sturdy as a wrestler, and I played football at 200. So I used to have to cut because back then they didn't have a weight class. You were either 177 and the next weight class was 215, and I didn't want to wrestle 215. So I would cut to get down to 177 for wrestling. They didn't have that. What do they got now? They got like a 191 weight class or something like that.
When I was there,
192.
It was 189. And then it went from 189 to 215. So I don't know if they had. I'd have to go back and check and look and what it's changed since then. But I know it's still like you still got your 103s, 112s, 119s, 125s, 130, 35, 44. And then every month, obviously during the wrestling season, you got a pound. Yeah, you got a pound.
A pound? Yeah, we used to get. I think we went from 177 to 181 after Christmas.
Some tournaments you went to, depending on what states we went to, we would get a pound or we'd get 2 pounds or something like that.
Yeah.
So,
all right. I tell you what, let's get a break in here. I thought esports might be your thing, or the Ninja Challenge.
I don't know. I'm not. I don't like you said. Shoulders. I don't have the shoulders for the Ninja Challenge anymore. Like I used to be able to do the monkey bars. I can't even do that. I'm too. I tacked on a lot of mass. It's a lot of
weight. What do you think
Miracle
League is?
I think it's for paralyzed kids and everything, or maybe adults that because they have a Miracle League field over at Brum Springs. So there's actually one here locally.
Well, we're going to find out more about it a little bit later on when Griffin Pritchett joins us. But we're wide open in this hour of the show. So if you want in, you can get in next right here on the Thom Abraham Show on 97.7 ESPN, The Zone.
You're listening to the Thom Abraham Show on 97.7 ESPN, The Zone.
This is Brent Musburger's VSiN Action Update on 97.7 ESPN The Zone. Check out VSiN's catalog of original podcasts, daily and weekly programming to keep you in the know when you're on the go. Only at VSIN.com. Now, here are the latest lines from my guys in the desert.
NBA play in action tonight. Toronto favored by 5 at home against Chicago. The Bulls paying plus 175. The Pelicans 5.5-point favorites at home against Oak City. The Thunder plus 185 on the money line. NBA play in tournament action last night in the West. The Lakers beat Minnesota 108-102 in overtime. The Lakers were favored by 8. Minnesota beat the spread by 2. The under was 210. LA advances to face Memphis in the first round. Atlanta beat Miami with a 116-105 upset. The Hawks paid plus 200, the under 221. Miami was favored by 5. The Hawks advanced to face second seed Boston this Sunday. Get the latest lines and more at vsin.com.
TOC Sports has been there for you. Now, you're probably asking yourself, what does that mean? It means for more than 20 years, Alabama's largest orthopedic group has been there providing coverage and care to more schools and student athletes in the Tennessee Valley than any other group. It means whether you are the star football player, the all-region volleyball ace, or someone who hurt their knee in a weekend pickup basketball game, TOC Sports physicians are proud to have the opportunity to care for all your orthopedic needs. It means for parents, coaches, athletes, desk jockeys, or even weekend warriors, TOC Sports physicians continue to meet and exceed the orthopedic and sports medicine needs of our community. But most importantly, during these challenging times, we're here for you now, and will continue to be here. So as long as there are players on the field, games to be played, and contests to be won, the orthopedic specialists from TOC Sports will be ready to help. We don't know what the future holds, but you can count on the TOC Sports team to stay committed to you, so you can stay in the game. Call 256-539-2728 today and ask to see a TOC Sports physician. Check them out online, also Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram.
T-minus 3, 2, 1.
Trash Panda Nation, ignite the fun, let's rock it.
Your Rocket City Trash Pandas are back next Tuesday, April 18th for a 6-game homestand against the Biloxi Shuckers. Promotions include 2 bobblehead giveaways to open and close the week, the first day game of the season on Wednesday, and dance night on Thursday. Reserve your seats now at TrashPandasBaseball.com.
Let's rock it.
Tom Luganbill here for my friends at Woody Anderson Ford. Bobby White and his team take great pride in their service department, and you can see it the moment you walk into those beautiful new service lanes. And just like a championship team, they all work together to make sure your experience is second to none, whether you drive a Ford or not. Also, check out the gold certified pre-owned inventory at Woody Anderson Ford for great deals every day. Stop by and see them at Jordan and Sparkman or at Woody Anderson of Madison on Hughes Road, or visit WoodyAndersonFord.com.
This is a special alert to all Americans who own a vehicle with less than 200,000 miles with an auto warranty about to expire or with no warranty coverage at all. Due to a decline in the economy, CarShield is announcing a low-cost month-to-month vehicle protection plan that is now available to the public to save any driver out-of-pocket expenses on future auto repairs. Call now to find out how you can pay almost nothing for covered auto repairs. Yes, you heard that correctly. Pay almost nothing for covered auto repairs. An open phone line has been established for all drivers to call for a free quick quote. Call 800-306-8158 now. Drivers who are covered will not have to pay for covered repairs again. This protection plan is at an all-time low. Additionally, drivers who activate this vehicle protection today will also receive free roadside assistance, free towing, and car rental options at no additional cost. Call us for your free quick quote today. 800-306-8158. That's 800-306-8158. What do you have to lose? Call 800-306-8158. Again, 800-306-8158.
From the Fox 54 Weather Center, I'm Chief Meteorologist Jordan Dressman. A beautiful Wednesday across North Alabama, southern Middle Tennessee. We're talking about a mostly sunny sky. Temperature should have no problem climbing into the mid-70s, dropping into the lower 50s as we head into the overnight, early into your Thursday morning. We're going to begin to see an increase in cloud cover through the middle and later part of Thursday morning. We're also going to begin to introduce the opportunity for a little bit of rain across the Tennessee Valley. We'll maintain the opportunity at least for some scattered showers and thunderstorms through a good chunk of Thursday afternoon, and then even as we head into Thursday evening. I'm Chief Meteorologist Jordan Dressman on your home for ESPN Radio, 97.7 ESPN The Zone.
You know, this process is all about talking ball.
Listen to Talkin' Ball with Scott Tyson and Drew DeArmond.
What did they want privacy for? To just start talking ball.
Every weekday morning, wake up with Scott and Drew. It's Talkin' Ball, 97.7 ESPN The Zone.
Welcome back, Thom Abraham Show. Segment of the show is brought to you by North Alabama Mortgage. For all your mortgage needs, it's North Alabama Mortgage. Whether you're in Alabama, Tennessee, or Florida, North Alabama Mortgage has the right product for you. And the best thing about North Alabama Mortgage, we talk about the rates, and we talk about getting, pre-approved, and we talk about home valuation and everything else. The biggest thing about North Alabama Mortgage is the fact that when you deal with them, they treat you like family. All right, that's the key. They treat you like family. All right, they're like family to you at North Alabama Mortgage, and you can feel so comfortable with North Alabama Mortgage and what they bring to the table. So North Alabama Mortgage, if you're getting ready to go through the process, or even if you're just going to look at some homes, get yourself pre-approved, or if you're wondering what kind of value you have in your property, get yourself into that, have a home valuation done as well with North Alabama Mortgage. Go to NorthAlabamaMortgage.com to learn more. Chris, am I lying? Am I being get off my long fuddy-duddy guy when I say that records that involve things like 10 straight starts with only giving up 2 runs, when one guy start is always 6 innings and the other guy's start is always 9 innings. You can't compare those. That's not fair to say that. I mean, what if the guy started and only went 4 innings and gave up 2 runs? You know what I mean? What is that? You know what I mean? I don't understand how you can compare Shohei Ohtani breaking a record that Nolan Ryan held when Nolan Ryan did it over, they were almost all complete games when he did it.
I think it's just when we always get to that habit of trying to compare eras of baseball or eras of basketball, when we compare Michael Jordan to LeBron James to Wilt Chamberlain to whoever, you know what I mean? It's just where we constantly try to dive too much into it and looking too much into it, where this is kind of like the norm of baseball now, where the DH is the norm, obviously. It's something that if you haven't really, I think, been watching AL baseball, that now you're kind of seeing as a whole, where, you know, especially with the implementation of the new rules.
Yeah, that would affect the pitchers' ERAs and things like that because they're not facing in basketball. If you go you can compare to Jordan era because at least they still played 60 minutes. It was still the same game, or 48 minutes. It's still the same game. The thing is, in basketball, for example, when you're comparing Pete Maravich scoring versus guys scoring now, they didn't have a 3-point line back then. So it's like you can't compare, those types of things. But in this case, if you want to say, ERA or per 9 innings, because ERA is always based on 9 innings. If you want to say he had, an ERA of, because if you give up, try to do the math here. If you give up 2 runs in 6 innings, right? Your ERA is 3, right? Does that make sense?
Yeah.
If you give up 2 runs in 9 innings, your ERA is 2. Okay, but if you give up 2 runs in 6 innings, your ERA is 3. So you're talking about a 30% difference. That's the part of it that you just can't compare to. That's why, like, when they talk about, like, football, they'll talk about rushing record, Jim Brown's rushing record versus some guy now's rushing record. Well, you could say things like, they didn't have AstroTurf back then, so they always played in a lousy field. They didn't have any Southern or Western teams back then. They had one, Los Angeles, so you were playing in the muck and the mud and that kind of stuff. Plus the hash marks back then were the college hash marks, or actually now what are now the high school hash marks, which means now in the NFL, there's no advantage one side or the other. You got to balance up your defense and cover the whole field. Back then, you would like in high school, you would defend the field and not worry as much about into the boundary. Back then, when the NFL had the wide hash mark. So there's all those things that were different than what you have today. But you still look at yards per carry, for example. So if you're going to look at yards per carry, Jim Brown averaged 5.2 yards per carry every carry for his entire career. There are very, very few guys that get to the end of their career still averaging over 5 yards per carry. But Jim Brown now is like 10th on the all-time rushing list because they play more games now. So it's the same thing with this record. If you say per start, well, what's a start now? Start now is 6 innings. The start used to be 9 innings.
Well, it's kind of like when the wide receiver catches it, it's like yards after reception, where should it go to the quarterback or should it go, why do all the yards go to the quarterback and only the yards that, you know what I mean?
At least it's always been that way.
Wide receiver,
they didn't change it halfway through.
Yeah, and it's like last night. Kyle Wright threw 3 innings, gave up 4 runs, has a 12 ERA already. He had 75 pitches in that game. It's 75 pitches in 3 innings, which is insane. Spencer Strider went 6 innings and had like 100. And I get it, he probably wasn't getting the ball in the right place, but it was just where this is kind of the norm where it's 75 to 90, no more maybe, unless the guy's kind of You're okay with keeping him out there. You know what I mean?
Well, I don't. Look, they pulled him because he gave up 4 runs in 3 innings. They pulled him because he was walking guys. The reason
he hit a guy too. Yeah,
and hitting guy. The reason he had 75 pitches in just 3 innings is because he was hitting. He
couldn't get out
because he was having a problem. Yeah, he couldn't get outs. That was the deal. All right, let me ask you a question. Are you gonna make a?
I already made one.
All right, what's it called?
97.7 ESPN. NBA Playoff Challenge 2023.
So my God.
There's a date on there.
Can you put more words in there possibly? Mine is Puckheads, okay? Mine's Puckheads, and you got all of this stuff in there. Did you join mine yet or no?
I did. We're the only 2 in your group.
No, I'm looking now. I've got
when I looked
now
at
it's up to 5.
Okay, cool. So
it's growing.
When I joined, there's only us.
So did you put this link somewhere so people can go and join it?
I have not put the link up yet.
Oh, well, what the hell?
Yeah, sorry. No,
I just put the link up. Put the link up so I can. When you put the link up,
put it up on the long name.
Mention. freaking name. I mean, are you kidding me? Put the link up and mention me in it so that my listeners, my followers on the Twitter will get in there.
You can already fill out your bracket too on the NBA one. Obviously, you can't do it yet for the NHL one, but you can already fill out the NBA one.
Why can you make it out without knowing who's going to be in the playoffs?
It has the number one versus like whoever the 8th seed is, or whoever, it just kind of says that.
Wow, Aaron Boone just got thrown out of the game in the top of the first inning. Aaron Boone is gone. He is arguing a blue streak. They overrode a call on a ball that was caught in center field for the third out with the Indian Guardians up in the top of the first, and now they overrode the thing and said it was a trap ball, which resulted, I think, in 2 runs scored maybe. But, man, he is livid. He's got that vein thing coming out of the side of his neck and everything. I mean, he is losing. Wait a minute. Let's listen. Let's see what Michael Kay is saying.
And they gave the Guardians the right to challenge.
Oh, that's the argument. They weren't supposed to be able to challenge that.
I don't know if Aaron Boone is done.
Yeah, he's done. Yeah, he got tossed. He's still on the field. Now he's walking around because now they're talking about whether or not you're supposed to even be able to challenge it.
He wants to see if it's overturned.
This is interesting. They're saying this is not something that you can be allowed to challenge.
I mean, clearly you could see the baseball touching the grass. I don't know why this is taking so long.
Yeah, it's going to be overturned. Love day baseball.
Anybody pulling a Brett Gardner and just slamming a bat against the dugout or anything? While this is going on.
No, he hasn't gotten to the. Yeah, I mean this is a long replay. This game might not go 2:37. Yesterday it was 11-2. It was an 11-2 game. In the old days that would be a 3.5 hour game.
Yeah,
11-2 game, 2 hours and 27 minutes. So beautiful. All right, I'll tell you. Let's get a break. Mike Griffith. He covers Georgia for Dog Nation. And this guy, Paul Feinbaum continues to put this guy on his show. And Mike Griffith went on the Paul Feinbaum show yesterday and said something that, to be quite honest with you, I mean, his man card ought to be pulled for what he said yesterday. I will play it next and get your reaction right here on 97.7 ESPN The Zone.
You're listening to the Thom Abraham Show on 97.7 ESPN The Zone.
Not looking or feeling your best? No energy for the things you like to do? Ready to look and feel younger? Make your appointment at Advanced Life Clinic, one of the region's foremost destinations for patients interested in looking and feeling their best. Specializing in advanced laser treatments and weight loss, male and female rejuvenation to offset the effects of aging, and more. See how Advanced Life Clinic can help you enjoy your life again. Call 256-882-6555 or log on advancedlifeclinic.com.
Hey folks, Bobby White back again for Woody Anderson Ford. If you've been considering owning a new Mustang, Explorer, Expedition, Edge, Escape, or Bronco Sport, we have 0% financing for 60 months on 22 models of those vehicles. This won't last long because as we sell off our 2022s, 0 for 60 goes with it. When they're gone, they're gone. Let me repeat, Woody Anderson Ford has 22 models of Bronco Sport, Explorer, Escape, Edge, Expedition, and Mustang with financing as low as 0% for up to 60 months. But when they're gone, it's gone. And of course, it's with your good credit through Ford Motor Credit. This offer ends April 29th. Woody Anderson Ford can also help you trade in and trade up on a Ford Blue Advantage Gold Certified or Blue Certified pre-owned vehicle. Great warranties, 24-hour roadside assistance, and a full tank of gas and a fresh oil change. Don't forget 0 for 60 on select 22 models while they last. Woody Anderson Ford, hope to see you soon.
If you're looking for a place where you can find your rhythm and feed your rhythm, then Rhythm on Monroe might be your happy place. Rhythm blends great drinks, cuisine, and live rhythms from local artists throughout the week. Like and follow our Facebook page to see specials in the weekly live entertainment schedule by local entertainers, such as Josh Allison, Preston Watts, Mike Roberts, Connor McMurray, Noel Webster, Ingrid Marie, and others. Open daily at 4 with brunch served on Saturdays and Sundays. Reservations available at rhythmonmonroe.com. Parking at the Von Braun Center is discounted when you provide your receipt at Rhythm on Monroe.
The kitchen is the heart of any home. It's where the family gathers. It's where kids discover old recipes and make them their own. Just starting out or just now getting started on the dream kitchen you've always wanted?
I'm Chris Haygood, and from all of us here at Bob Wallace Appliance to the home builders and the homeowners of the Huntsville area, a heartfelt thank you for buying local. We're in Huntsville, Florence, and Coleman, and online at bobwallaceappliance.com.
The Atlanta Braves are back, and this 2023 team is ready for another epic season.
There's a liner out towards center field. It will lay down. Base hit. Here comes Ronald. Braves win it.
Tonight, the Braves wrap up this huge season-opening homestand as they square up against the Cincinnati Reds in Atlanta. Braves Radio goes on the air at 6:05 Eastern, 5:05 Central on the Atlanta Braves Radio Network.
From the Fox 54 Weather Center, I'm Chief Meteorologist Jordan Dressman. A beautiful Wednesday across North Alabama. We're talking about a mostly sunny sky. Temperature should have no problem climbing into the mid-70s, dropping into the lower 50s as we head into the overnight early into your Thursday morning. We're going to begin to see an increase in cloud cover through the middle and later part of Thursday morning. We're also going to begin to introduce the opportunity for a little bit of rain across the Tennessee Valley. We'll maintain the opportunity at least for some scattered showers and thunderstorms through a good chunk of Thursday afternoon, and then even as we head into Thursday evening. I'm Chief Meteorologist Jordan Dressman on your home for ESPN Radio, 97.7 ESPN The Zone.
Everything you need is just a click away.
I should pull up sometimes, silly.
Okay, almost everything.
Come on, Bob. Tell your fortune.
Log on today. 977ESPN.com. 977 ESPN The Zone.
And welcome back to Tom Abraham Show on a hump day in the doghouse. Glad you are with us. I give you this hour, and you're over there sitting on your hands. All right, I give you this hour to pick up your phone and call 256-576-4977, and you're sitting. I said sitting on your hands is what you're doing. So if you want to get in, get it, because the next hour is going to be a little bit busy. But let me get to this. So yesterday on the Paul Feinbaum Show, Mike Griffith. I mean, look, it's one thing that, Drew Arman is a big homer. It's another thing that I'm a big homer. Okay? But we're not supposed to be, we're not covering the team. It's supposed to be kind of objective. I try to be objective. I think Drew tries to be objective. Because I've heard Drew go on and talk about other teams, talk about Georgia, talk about, Auburn, and talk about other teams and so on, and be objective. I've heard him be objective. Mike Griffith, though, I mean, this guy. So anyway, Feinbaum asked him about, the status of the West, and Griffith says that last year Nick Saban was the second best coach in the West because they lost to LSU. So that means that Brian Kelly was the best coach in the West, even though they didn't have a better overall record, but it doesn't matter because they beat Alabama. So that's how we determine, I guess, now who the best coach is. Okay, fine. So Nick Saban was the second best coach in the West. But then he throws shade at the entirety of the West.
I think you got to look at the West and wonder what's going to happen between LSU and Alabama. And my goodness, things have been quiet at Texas A&M, especially considering the hire. Somehow or another, they've kept everything under wraps there, and they might quietly be a threat. The West is certainly intriguing, and it may prove to measure up to the East. It's been a while though. It's been a few years since we've seen a Western Division team win the SEC title.
What?
It may prove to measure up to the East. It's been a while though. It's been a few years since we've seen a Western Division team win the SEC title.
What?
It's been a few years since we've seen a Western Division team win the SEC title.
It has? I mean, I don't know. Grizz, how many years has it been? How long has it been that the West has been in the wilderness? How many years has it been since the West won an SEC championship?
The last 3? Before last year?
How about the last 4 before
last
year?
So last 4.
How about 12 of the last 14 years? In the few years that it has been, it's been exactly 1 year. Georgia beat LSU last year 50-30. The year before, Alabama beat Georgia 41-24 to win the SEC West and beat Florida 52-46, and then LSU beat Georgia 37-10, and Alabama beat Georgia 35-25.
And since 2007, it's either been a Tiger or the Crimson Tide. Whether it's LSU or Auburn, it's just
one of the Tigers.
It's one of the Tigers or the Crimson Tide since 2007.
I mean, how can this guy say? I mean, this is a professional at this. He's on the Paul freaking Feinbaum show.
It's been a few years since we've seen a Western Division team win the SEC title.
No, it has not been a few years. It's been 1 year.
Isn't he also a Screaming Eagle? Wasn't he an 101st? Wasn't he? He was in the military,
have no
I think.
Idea. This guy.
It might be another story he's told.
I mean, you got to be kidding me with this guy.
Did he go to Auburn? No, he
I don't know.
Or he covered Auburn. I think he covered Auburn.
Maybe.
Before Georgia, I believe.
But, I mean, how can you go? Now, I didn't hear this on the show. Mulatan sent that to me. I didn't hear this on the show. My question is this. Did Paul call him out? Does anybody know? Did anybody hear this? Anybody? Did anybody hear this yesterday? 256-576-4977. Did anyone call him out about whether or not the West could measure up to the East?
You know, it may prove to measure up to the East. It's been a while, though. It's been a few years since we've seen a Western Division team win the SEC title.
Really? We're going to question whether or not the SEC West can measure up to the SEC East, which is a one-team division? Really? The last time somebody that wasn't out of the West or wasn't Georgia won the SEC championship, you have to go back to 2008 when Florida beat Alabama, when Alabama first burst on the scene under Nick Saban in Saban's second year. And Florida won. 2008, I don't know, that's what, 14 years, 15 years, 14 games, 14 or 15 years ago? Since 2009, the SEC West has won 12 out of the 14 SEC championships. And they've done it with multiple teams. LSU has won it. Auburn has won it. Alabama has won it over and over and over and over again. Georgia won 2 in the last 14 years. The rest were all won by the West, including 2 years ago. Yes, of course, Georgia came back and beat Alabama for the national championship. I get that. There's no doubt about it. But I got news for you. It's been 1 year. Exactly 1 year. I mean, you got to be kidding me. That is, and I mean, I hope Paul called him out. I mean, I hope he made him come correct a little bit. You can't just throw that kind of crap out there. You can't just put it out there and let it hang like that. You got to say something about it. Got to do something with that. All right. Grizz Grumpy reminds us that April 19th and May 3rd are 2 businessman specials for the Trash Pandas. And first pitch is at 11 o'clock. He wants to know whether or not we will be doing a remote at the stadium one of those 2 days or both of those 2 days. Now, let me say this about that and why that's why we wouldn't be.
I think Education Day is actually next Wednesday, their day game.
That's April 19th. That's it. That's the first one. The reason I would think that we are not going to be doing a remote from the stadium, though we don't have the broadcast rights to the Trash Pandas. There's another radio station that used to be a sports station that has the rights, and the game will be broadcast on a different station. So I don't think that they would want us to be there while they're broadcasting the game on a different station. You know what I mean? I mean, we would definitely be there if we were doing the game, but we don't do their games.
I might get out there if I can catch the tail end of it after the show.
You won't catch the tail end of it.
I probably won't.
They're at 11. They're at 11 o'clock. The game's
it'll be done.
2:30.
It'll be done. It'll probably be
over.
Hopefully, we go to extras.
I would love to be there. To be quite honest with you, I would love to be there, and I would love to do the show from out there. But I don't think that the radio station used to be a sports station that's carrying their games. I don't think. I'm not sure that would be right. Right, Grumpy?
Shade.
I mean, Grumpy's on. Yeah, I don't, Grumpy. I don't think that would work. You know what I mean? It's one thing to have Josh come on our show, once a week and talk Trash Pandas and talk baseball in general. But for me to be broadcasting there, quite honestly, to our big audience, and while another radio station that has no audience anymore that is airing the game, I don't think that would be good. Right, Grumpy?
Oh, I didn't know I was on. Okay.
Yeah. I put you. Yeah.
No, hey, look, there's only one way to find out.
Should we ask? It would be pretty ballsy to ask.
Got to call up Aaron.
Yeah. You could
No,
go
it wouldn't
out
be
there
Aaron's
and
call.
You could go out there and do a remote, and you could have a little sign that said the only sports radio station that covers the Trash Pandas.
So that would make it even worse for them.
Yeah,
that would be even worse for those guys. You know what I mean? It would be like,
but you know what? No, it would make for really good radio.
Like a confrontation out there. If they had anybody work for him, it would be maybe a confrontation. The last guy that worked for him is now the PA guy for the Trash Pandas. So turn the lights off. Would the last guy working here please turn the lights off?
Okay, so U.S. News and World Report came out with their rankings of universities. They did it by conference. And my question to you is, Nick Saban, who is the best college football coach, no questions. I mean, no question at all. And he did bring Alabama up, I think, with the student enrollment, like you pointed out before.
Mm.
Do you think it's worth it if you're doing great in sports and you increase your student body numbers, but you probably lower the bar to get in? Because I noticed that Ole Miss, Mississippi State, and Arkansas are the only teams beneath Alabama ranking the education that you get at the university. Ole Miss, Mississippi State, and Arkansas. And then Alabama.
And I'm not sure what it was like, 15 years ago. I don't know that it wasn't always that way, or has Alabama fallen down on that list? I'd have to go back and see what it was. But if your enrollment, which is almost doubled there, my kid went there pre-Saban, it was 19,000 was the enrollment, something like that. And the enrollment now is like 30,000. Yeah. And I remember when they questioned the president and said, when Saban got up to $5 million a year, and they questioned him, they said, you're paying this dude $5 million a year. And they're like, and he's like, it's the best investment we ever made because they're making so much more money on the enrollment. But that's a good question. I don't know. Have they lowered? I don't think they've lowered the general admission standards. And in CPA, what is that thing called? CPR? They do really well in terms of the athletic department and the football team in terms of graduating. So they do that part well. I don't know if the overall university, is got a lower, admissions level or not.
It'd be interesting to look at. Now, is it? I've heard that the numbers for the Masters this year were huge. Is that right?
They were huge on Sunday, but here's the little caveat to that makes a little bit of a, again, this is like comparing, pitcher now to a pitcher who used to pitch all complete games. That was the 16 million that watched the Masters on Sunday is the cumulative number. Well, because that Saturday got rained out, the Masters was on for 11 hours on Sunday. So instead of it just having its normal Sunday thing where it started at 1 o'clock and they air it until 7 o'clock at night, the Masters came on CBS at 8:30 in the morning. When many of us were in church on Easter Sunday, it came out at 8:30 in the morning. So yes, 16 million people watched the Masters, but my God, it was on for 11 hours.
Yeah. Do you think we're getting more accurate readings from the numbers of people watching? Because the numbers seem to be going up. Like, for instance, in 2019 when Tiger Woods won it, you're telling me that more people watched it this year, and I did hear what you just said.
Yeah.
But it was hard for me to believe that more people watched Thom win it than Tiger Woods just 3 years ago.
Well, what was it? Is that what they said?
10.8.
10.8 in 2019 on Sunday? And 16 million.
Found it around.
There's two things in play here. One, of course, is the 11-hour broadcast. But the other one is this. Have you noticed that all the sports ratings are up? So all the sports, everything is going up. That's
why
Let me tell you why.
Why?
I'm going to tell you why. Because beginning last year, Nielsen redid the way they do their TV numbers, and they're now including numbers of they have an estimate for people that are watching in joint. So if you go to Baumhauer's, they count that as 200 people watching the game. So if you go all those restaurants, they used to not have those numbers in. It used to just be households. Now they estimate the people that are watching jointly. And it also includes the streaming numbers, which it never did before. So the people that were watching the golf tournament on CBSSports.com, which had the same exact broadcast as CBS Sports, all of the people that were watching it on their phones and other devices, all of them are getting lumped in now too. So that's part of the reason why all the numbers are up in all the sports.
So you could have 12 TVs spread across 6 bars and increase your numbers 1,000.
Oh, God, yeah. I mean, Sunday, Sunday afternoon, NFL, Saturday afternoon in the South. Are you kidding me? All the bars that have football on. So, they have a way now that they measure that, and they literally measure it, by what games are on. You know what I mean? You go into a sports bar on a Saturday afternoon, you're going to see LSU's over there, Auburn's over there, Alabama's over there, and they break that up. So if there's 300 people in the sports bar, they break it up evenly as far as how many people were viewing, the games.
So do you have to wear spikes now when you play golf if I'm going to do this foursome that I won?
Yes, we do. The professionals don't. The pros, some of the pros still wear the metal spikes, but amateurs now, there isn't a golf course around anywhere really that allows you to wear metal spikes. You got to wear soft spikes.
So you can play in tennis shoes? Is that what you're saying?
Oh yeah, absolutely. A lot of people play in tennis shoes. Yeah. Yeah.
Oh,
and if you have and if you have golf shoes that are old golf shoes that have metal spikes in them, you can get those changed out to to plastic spikes. Yeah.
All right, man. That's all I got. Appreciate it.
So are you going to do it? Are you going to take it? Are you taking your foursome? Because I got to give your name. Okay. All right. I'm going to give your information to the club.
Yeah. And it's going to be a month or two before I go out there, though. Is that
That's
all right?
all right. That's fine. Yeah. You got a year, but let me know if you need a fourth. I'll.
Cool. Yeah, we'll work it out, man. I appreciate it. Later.
Thanks. That's a good break. It's Thom Abraham Show. 97.7 ESPN, The Zone.
One of the best-kept golf secrets in the Tennessee Valley is Cherokee Ridge. Cherokee Ridge truly offers golf at a higher level with immaculate greens set against a spectacular Appalachian backdrop. This 18-hole championship course takes every advantage of rolling hills, whispering woods, lakes, and streams. Interested in becoming a member? Their membership plans feature affordable options for couples, families, and individuals. Book your tee time today, 256-841-4551. Cherokee Ridge. Championship quality, affordable prices. Specializing in simple and affordable rentals, McCurry Van and Car Rental can make sure you have just the right vehicle for your next family vacation, weekend getaway, or if you just need transportation while your vehicle is being repaired. McCurry carries Ford Transit vans and Mercedes Sprinter vans, trucks and work vans, and more. And they offer discounted rental rates for long-term rentals. Now with 4 locations: Athens, Muscle Shoals, Coleman, and Huntsville. Log on McCurryRentals.com to make your reservation now. That's McCurryRentals.com.
Hello, listeners. My name is Jonathan Dunwoody, and I own Minuteman Press. We are a full-service print shop that is locally owned and operated. I have personally been handling direct mail for over 17 years and have a great relationship with the USPS. We are the only print shop in the area that is listed as a print provider on their website and the only printing franchise that can use their logo as our partner on marketing materials. We can help from conception to design, print, and delivery to the post office. And with our easy, secure online payment option, you don't even need to leave your office. Minuteman Press, we're not just putting ink on paper, we're building relationships.
Now open, this is your invitation to experience the grand opening of ABIQ's new 10,000 square foot showroom. The best brands in home audio, home theater, and home automation. The place to see and hear and feel and listen and watch. The place where you can audition top brand audio and video equipment before it goes in your home. World-class brands now available in Huntsville. Come experience the difference. 1833 University Drive, just east of the Parkway at the all-new AVIQHSV.com.
The Drive with Wes Neighbors and Steve Moulton. Listen weekday afternoons starting at 5 on 97.7 ESPN, The Zone.
It's perfect!
Welcome back, Tom Abraham Show. You know, Woody Anderson Ford, their service department is outstanding, and you notice it right away when you go into the service lanes. You know, right? You're going to go in them service lanes, you're going to say, oh, my gosh, should I be driving in here? I mean, is this somebody's living room or what? But they take great pride in their service lanes. They take great pride in their service department, and they do such a tremendous job at Woody Anderson Ford. And the inventory is building over there big time, so you got to check out all the new Broncos they've got and F-150s and Mustangs and all that good stuff. And at Woody Anderson Ford. And just go to WoodyAndersonFord.com. You can learn more about it. You can see the certified gold pre-owned vehicles like my wife's Mustang, which is in Orange Beach at my daughter's beach house down there, where they're doing a bunch of painting, and now they're staging it for Airbnb-ing it and all that other kind of stuff. She was supposed to be home today. She went last week for 2 days. She's gone this week for two days. Now it's going to be 3 days. She just called me and she said, I'm not going to be home till tomorrow. We don't want to drive all night. We got plenty of work to do here. We're waiting on these bunk beds to get built. We're putting mattresses in and bedding. And so I don't know, Chris. I think I'm going to go fishing after work.
Nice.
There's no Yankees on tonight because they're playing right now. There's no Bruins on. Braves are on. Maybe check that out.
Got some basketball.
I get caught up. Yeah, I don't want to. The games I was most interested in were last night. Yeah. I'm not really interested in anything tonight. I think I'm going to catch up on a little bit of SEAL Team. She doesn't like watching it anymore. She used to watch it when it was on CBS. They moved to Paramount Plus, and now it's a little more violent over there. And so she doesn't want to watch it. So I think I'll do a little SEAL Team marathon tonight, maybe.
Sounds good. Yeah, no, I could understand that. I could see her not being
that kind the military of stuff. Yeah, she's like it's a little rough. All right, coming up next, Josh Carey will join us. We're talking country hardball with him right here on 97.7 ESPN, The Zone.
You've got to experience Toyotathon at Bill Penny Toyota. They've got the selection with over 700 new Toyotas to choose from. And they've got the extras with Bill Penny perks and a 10-year unlimited warranty. So get on over to Bill Penny Toyota today and experience Toyotathon. Bill Penny Toyota in Huntsville and online at BillPennyToyota.com. Bill Penny's Toyota 10-year unlimited warranty is valid through the 10th year of ownership. Valid on new vehicles only. See dealer for details.
When you call most roofing companies, all you'll hear is, you need a new roof. Not when you call Fleming. At Fleming Roofing and Restoration, we're focused on your needs, whether it's an easy repair or a full roof replacement. Folks around here trusted Fleming since 1965 for all their residential and commercial roofing needs. And as the area's storm damage experts, Fleming knows all the ins and outs of the insurance claims process. Log on FlemingHSV.com to schedule your free estimate today. Fleming Roofing and Restoration. We show up.
This is SportsCenter.
I'm Christine Lisi. The NBA play-in tournament begins tonight with the 7-8 matchups. Up first, Heat Hawks. Winner takes the 7th seed in the East and has a first-round playoff matchup with 2-seeded Boston. The loser will play the Chicago-Toronto play-in winner and a chance to take on 1-seed Milwaukee in the opening round. Also tonight, Lakers host a Timberwolves team that will be without center Rudy Gobert. He was suspended by Minnesota for punching teammate Kyle Anderson during Sunday's regular season finale. Tonight's winner is the 7th seed in the West and takes on 2-seed Memphis in the first round. Loser hosts the winner of the New Orleans-Oklahoma City play-in, with that winner playing top seed Denver in round 1. The ACC and Commissioner Jim Phillips finalizing a 3-year extension that'll keep him atop the league essentially through the rest of this decade, reports ESPN's Pete Thamel.
WZZN, Union Grove, Huntsville, Alabama. 97.7 ESPN, The Zone.
From the Fox 54 Weather Center, I'm Chief Meteorologist Jordan Dressman. A beautiful Wednesday across North Alabama, southern Middle Tennessee. We're talking about a mostly sunny sky. Temperature should have no problem climbing into the mid-70s, dropping into the lower 50s as we head into the overnight early into your Thursday morning. We're going to begin to see an increase in cloud cover through the middle and later part of Thursday morning. We're also going to begin to introduce the opportunity for a little bit of rain across the Tennessee Valley. We'll maintain the opportunity at least for some scattered showers and thunderstorms through a good chunk of Thursday afternoon, and then even as we head into Thursday evening. I'm Chief Meteorologist Jordan Dressman on your home for ESPN Radio, 97.7 ESPN The Zone.
And now, a man who knows what you ate for breakfast.
Time now for the biggest thinker of them all.
He knows it all. He is Drew DeArmond. Listen to Drew and Scott Tyson weekday mornings. It's Talkin' Ball on 97.7 ESPN The Zone.
You need to be more like a dog. Like what you guys are doing. You've got your fingertip on the pulse of your listeners. You guys know what they're talking about. Be a dog. God bless the show. You are the Messiah. We need more dogs. This is the best show on radio.
The big dog, Thom Abraham, is here with you.
Hey, I see you. Hey, I see you, dog.
So settle in and get your bark on.
That's my dog.
Now live. Here he is, the big dog.
Let's go, baby!
Thom Abraham.
How you doing? 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 Look, I don't speak Spanish.
I don't know how to say this, so I'm going to choose my words very carefully. I think you're a psycho.
Do you know who I am?
I mean, that guy sounds like El McPherson farting into Miles Davis' trumpet.
I guess I'm on here. Am I on? Can somebody respond? Get off my lawn.
I have to drag my Yankee ass out of here.
And welcome back. Hour number 2 of the Thom Abraham Show. So glad that you are with us on this hump day in the doghouse. Could it be more glorious? Could it possibly be more glorious than it is right now? What is it, about 75 degrees outside? There isn't a breath of air. It is absolutely a cloudless sky. It's 76 degrees right now, going up to 78 in Huntsville, and just absolutely spectacular out there. Somebody I know might go fishing after the show. I don't know. Somebody might go fishing after work today. I don't know who that is, but I'm just saying it could happen. It's probably Grizz. All right, joining us now, a guy that does a tremendous job. He is the voice, of course, of the Rocket City Trash Pandas. He is of the Broadcasting Carey family. And he's joining us now, right here. He joins us for Carey's Corner every Wednesday, and he's on the Neighbors Wealth Management Hotline. It's Josh Carey joining us from Birmingham, where the Trash Pandas are playing this week. Josh, welcome back. How are you?
I'm good, Tom. It's actually pretty nice down here. So I caught a couple clouds in the sky, but another great day for baseball. We look forward to hopefully another win tonight.
Yeah, it could be another win tonight, and the team, of course, got off to a very quick start last night, built that, 7-0 lead, and cruised to a 9-2 win. But I'm not going to let you get off the hook that easily. We have not talked since Saturday. and we got to talk about Saturday. I mean, this was I know it would have been a better story for the Trash Pandas if they were on the right side of that thing, if they figured out a way to win that game. But my goodness, I'm older than you, but you've been around a minute. 7 runs with no hits allowed, and it all comes in the ninth inning, all coming unglued. Have you ever in your life witnessed anything like that? And how do you call something like that as you're calling it? And I did hear some of the highlights in deference to our friends in Athens. We didn't play those highlights, but I heard some of your call on it. You didn't sound happy.
Well, here's what I'll tell you, Tom. First off, outside of Little League, no, I have not seen anything like that. And in terms of calling it, it was amazing. It was one of the most absurd things I've ever seen. Because what you first focus on as you enter that final inning is the fact that the Trash Pandas are on the verge of possibly their second no-hitter in team history. So that's the focus, right? And then you start walking people, and the bases are loaded, and you walk in a run. Now the thinking is, okay, just hang on and get the win. And then you have a routine fly ball, and it's dropped, and 3 runs score. Now it's, oh my gosh, can these guys come back? And suddenly the no-hitter's out the window. You're not even thinking about that as a broadcaster. You're thinking, can these guys keep them to a 4-3 lead and try to come back in the bottom half? And then suddenly the best reliever in the Angels organization last season comes in, and he hits 4 guys or 5 guys. I forget how many it was. And then your mind just kind of goes blank because you just cannot believe what you're watching. And that's what it was. I wasn't happy, but I wasn't really mad. I was just dumbstruck because it was so wildly. The unraveling was so incredible to watch. You had to watch it. I mean, you couldn't take your eyes off of it, as horrible as it was. And then once the game ended and you had about a day or two to digest it, you realized that, you know what, you were part of something that was pretty interesting. It wasn't fun and it wasn't great for your team, but it was still amazing. And the fact that you were a part of baseball history in that regard, well, that winds up being kind of neat. And, give the guys credit. Since then, they've won back-to-back games, and they've looked awfully good doing it.
Yeah, that it kind of reminds me of back in the day, my hometown Rochester Red Wings played that 33-inning game against the Pawtucket Red Sox. They've written books about that. I mean, it is incredible. They lost the game, but it was still, you get that notoriety.
The Angels organization, they get with their managers before the season. They say, look, for weeks 1 through 6 or 1 through 8 or whatever, your starters can't go more than 75, 80 pitches. And so, for Andy, he wants to win, but he also wants to keep a job. And Coleman is moved up into the rankings of the Angels farm system. He's a sought-after prospect now. And so the protection of the arm comes before the win. And, it goes back to what I've always said, Tom. We love watching the Trash Pandas, and we want them to win. But let's not fool ourselves. The primary element of minor league baseball is development. That's the most important thing, more than winning. So if you wind up losing a game because you pull a guy a little early and get a reliever in there instead of letting him finish the game, well, that's what the organization wanted. And Andy did the right thing. He did what he was told to do, and you really can't blame him for it.
You wonder if in those discussions, though, that the caveat is thrown out there. It's like, okay, if the kid says 75 is the number, but what if he's throwing a no-hitter? And what if there's only 1 inning to go in the no-hitter? I mean, it's not like, okay, I get it. If it was a 9-inning game, you're not going to leave him in there all the way to the end. But if there's 1 inning to go in the no-hitter, can I stretch him to 85 pitches? Because he's lovely to get the no-hitter in 85 pitches. I just want to be a fly on the wall when they're having those kind of discussions. Because for the kid, I mean, that would just be a thing, Hey, I threw a no-hitter in double-A ball.
It'd be great. And I love to see it. I remember a couple of years ago, our first season when Jay Bell was the manager, Jansen Junk, who is no longer with the Angels, I forget who he's with now, it may be the Mariners, but Jansen was pitching a perfect game, and he got through eight innings, and he went into the ninth. We were in Biloxi, and Jay put him back out there. I think he gave up I know he gave up a hit to the first guy, and I think he walked someone else, wound up getting pulled, but they at least gave him a shot. I don't know if it's different if it's a 9-inning game as opposed to 7. I don't know if it's different if it's a perfect game as opposed to a no-hitter. But rules are rules, and that's what Andy did on Saturday. And again, he's just doing what his bosses tell him to do.
It's not like we haven't seen it on the major league level. I mean, we have seen it in recent years now. We have seen guys come out of no-hitters in the majors. So it's a thing now, the whole issue of, and I don't know who came up with these numbers. Somebody must have crunched some math because, they came up with the 100 means something, or 105 or 100. Guys used to go throw 120, 130 like it was nothing. All right, before I get on to a major league topic, I got to ask you, though, what am I looking at with this Zach Neto? This kid came up last year, played 30 games. He was the number one pick in the draft last year for the Angels. He played 30 games with the Trash Pandas last year and hit .320. And now this year he's off to a 7-for-14 start. I'm no math major, but that sounds like 500. What do we got here? I mean, what are we looking at? Because you better get out to the ballpark and see this kid, because I don't know how long this kid's going to be around.
No, and frankly, I was surprised he was brought back to Double-A. I think they wanted him, though, to get some more experience under his belt, because his stock has been rising since he was drafted. He was the first-round pick drafted by the Angels last year out of Campbell University, former Campbell. So he got a brief cup of coffee with the Trash Man. I think they just want to give him a little more time, but if he continues to do what he's doing, he's not going to be around too much longer. You're right. But, the Angels, they've got guys at the major league level right now who are under contract. They signed a few minor league free agents to take over at AAA. I know Levon Soto, who had such a fine season last year for the Trash Pandas, he's at AAA right now. So I think Zach is also a little bit of a victim of a crowded field right now. But if he continues to do what he's doing, given his age, given the fact he's a first-round pick with all that money invested in him, he's not going to be here for long. So you're right. Get out to the ballpark, watch him, because he's a blast. I really love his approach to hitting with two strikes. He takes out his high leg kick and just focuses on striding toward the ball and making solid contact. And last night he went 4 for 5, had a home run, only drove in 3 runs. So he's already doing that at Double-A. He won't be here long.
How is he in the field? I mean, is he slick fielding as well?
Yeah, he's very slick. He'll make a boot every now and then. He's going to need to get some more reps out there and, work out the kinks or whatever. He made, during spring training, Tom, they were playing the Dodgers, and he got a lot of time with the Major League spring training because all the guys were at the World Baseball Classic. He caught a line drive off the bat of, it may have been Mookie Betts, caught a line drive from short, and he must have left about 40 inches in the air. He was playing in, he leaped in the air, made a beautiful catch, and he made it like it was nothing, and it was one of the top plays in baseball that day. So the guy is about as smooth defensively as you can find. He's just got to work on making sure he handles the routine grounders and things like that. But, he's about as good of a prospect the Angels have as anyone.
Yeah. Josh Carey with us here talking some baseball. All right, to the major leagues. I love Shohei Ohtani. I'm just fascinated by what he does. He's a unicorn. All of those adjectives are fantastic. I have a little bit of an issue. I'm going back to get off my lawn. I have a little bit of an issue when we're comparing records that have to do something with games started, okay? Because, Shohei Ohtani, that was his 10th game, allowing a 10th start, allowing 2 runs or less. And he breaks Nolan freaking Ryan's record from 72-73, who had 9 starts in a row that were, allowed 2 runs or less. But Nolan Ryan's going 9 then. I mean, Nolan Ryan had 47 complete games in 1972, 1973 out of 80 starts. Shohei goes 6, sometimes 7. It's a third more of a game. If Nolan Ryan had 6-inning starts, he would have never given up a run probably. I don't know. It sticks in my craw a little bit. You want to talk about ERA and things like that, that's fine. But it sticks in my craw when we take a record that has to do with games started, when a start nowadays is completely different than what a start was in the 70s, the guy we're comparing.
Yeah, I agree with you. And it's one of those deals where if you're from that previous era, you understand it. If you're not, you don't get it. And there are a lot of folks who, you say Nolan Ryan and they they get a little cross-eyed because they don't know what you're talking about. We just have to accept the fact that it's a different game. And the days of the 9-inning starter is pretty much gone. You'll get one every now and then, but for the most part, that's gone. you're going to get guys who go 6 and 7. If you get 7 out of them, that's pretty darn good. And it's just one of those things we have to accept. What's happened is, in my opinion, is the guys make too much money, and there's so much money involved in them that you're worried more about them getting hurt than you are about them being successful. And you forget that it needs to be the other way around. They need to succeed first, and if they wind up getting hurt, well, unfortunately, that's part of sport. But there's just so much invested in them. You don't want them wearing down early. You don't want them breaking down early. You want to get as much ROI as possible. And as a result, sometimes less is more. And I guess that's what the thinking is nowadays. I don't agree with it. I would like to see guys go 9. I would like to see guys throw more innings. I would have loved to see Coleman Crow go a full 7. But that's just not the way it is anymore, and that's not what the thinking is anymore. And it's one of those deals where if you're a baseball fan, you just kind of have to shrug your shoulders and accept it. And who knows, maybe things will change back one day. But right now, there's just too much invested in guys to push them too far early in their careers.
Yeah, and I agree with the early in their careers part. It's weird, though, because we moved in 2 different directions. We went from pitching every 4th day to pitching every 5th day, and we only pitch 100 pitches if you're going good. Yeah. I was stunned. Garrett Cole went 7 last. I'm like, oh, my God, Garrett Cole just won 7 innings. You got to be kidding me. But so it's like we're giving them an extra day of rest, and, oh, by the way, you're not going to throw your 101st pitch. It's like, okay, and these guys, there were a number of guys. It wasn't like everybody blew their arms out back in the day. I mean, some of these guys pitched for years and years and years under a system where they threw 120 pitches every 4 days, and it just, I don't know, it drives me a little bit goofy. But
yeah, I know. I remember John Smoltz back in the day. He used to say that when he was 15, 16 years old in Michigan, he would basically throw a ball against a wall until his arm gave out. I mean, that's how he built up his arm strength. Now, he still wound up tearing up his elbow midway through his career, but he bounced back, had a very nice career. It's just a different mentality now. They don't even want to reach that point where you blow your arm out and have to sit out a year for surgery. They want you to preserve you for as long as possible, even if that means taking you out of games early. And I don't like it. I don't agree with it, but they don't pay me for that type of thought.
I befriended Burt Blyleven in Fort Myers, Florida, when I was down there. He, of course, was the Twins broadcaster all those years as the Twins broadcaster, and we actually got to the point where we played some golf together. Our kids went to the same school. He lives there in the off season and so on. And I always joked, and I was one of the ones really kind of championing him for the Hall of Fame, and we always kind of joked about innings pitched. And I mean, I think it was, I can't remember which way. Here's a guy that threw a incredible curveball, just an absolutely vicious curveball, which puts more stress, on the arm. Mm-hmm. And in 1985, I think it was, he threw nearly 300 innings, and it was, now forget about it. I mean, 160, 170 innings, they start getting nervous. And if you get up to, 200 or 210, something like that, you led the league, in innings pitched. He had 5 or 6 seasons. In 1973, Burt Blyleven threw 325 innings. 325 innings. That dude played for 22 years. Somehow his arm held up. It was just a different world.
It was a different world. And let's face it, he was a freak of nature. I mean, for your arm to hold up like that. So was Nolan Ryan. Nolan Ryan was a freak of nature. Mm-hmm. Guys just aren't built like that, and that's not the mentality anymore. And it's just one of those deals where something drastic would have to happen in a big situation like a World Series game to where, if you take a guy out early and get bashed for it, we've kind of seen that happen a couple of times with the Rays. But something drastic is going to happen in order to get people to change their thinking. And there's, guys are getting bigger and stronger. There's performance medicine and things like that to help with their careers. Maybe that'll help change the thinking somewhere down the line. It's just not there yet. Yeah.
Okay, finally, before I let you go, you're working every night now. I get that. You don't get to see a lot of Braves games, I'm sure, but, they started a little bit before you started, so maybe you got to see a little bit of it. I know he replaced your brother, and I know that those carries, your dad and your brother, we was like 40-some-odd years, as the voice of the Braves on TV. I don't know if you've heard any of this Brandon Gaudin, though. He's pretty good, man. I gotta tell you, I love your brother. There's no doubt about it. This kid, this Brandon Gaudin kid, he's pretty good. He's got some juice and energy, and he has a voice that is much deeper and bigger than you would see when you look at him. He's one of those guys where you look at him and you think he's going to have a thin voice, and he's booming at you. But I like him. He's done a nice job.
So I know Brandon a little bit, and by a little bit I mean we've had lunch a couple of times. I knew him when he was the voice of Georgia Tech, and he's a really good guy. In fact, my dad was one of his inspirations to becoming a broadcaster, and even wrote my dad a letter asking how he could become a broadcaster. My dad wrote him back, and he's always been very open to that and very appreciative of the family and what that name represents to the Braves organization. He's a good dude. So he's not just a great broadcaster. He's a great guy. He's the voice of Madden, for goodness sake.
That's true.
That should tell you something. So he's got the chops, and he's going to have a very long and successful career there if he chooses to. He's just a very talented broadcaster, and Braves Nation is lucky to have him.
That's his team, so I would think that he'd want to, hang on there as long as possible. Now, you look at him and you think he's 25 years old. He's actually 36, so he's been around a minute. But, yeah, I mean, can you imagine having you're replacing, Skip and Chip Carey? I mean, that's a lot, to be the first guy in two generations not named Carey to be doing the Braves. I mean, that's a lot of pressure, but he seems to be doing a good job with it and handling it well.
Yeah, and he will do well. And I think it helped a little bit that Chip was there for such a while, and it really served as a buffer. And nothing against Chip, but he was not on the same level as Dad, right? Like Dad was an icon. Chip was very good. Now you got Brandon. If you're going from icon to icon and then following, that's a really hard thing to do. But I think this will be a nice little segue into Gaudin, and he'll be able to make his own name there.
Yeah. All right. Always a pleasure. Great stuff. Great talking hardball with Josh Carey. Josh, have a great call tonight, and we look forward to chatting again. Next week, by the way, we're going to have to figure something out next week, because next week you'll be on the air when we're on the show. So, there's a possibility I'll be at the ballpark, you know what I'm saying? But I don't know. I'm trying to be respectful as much as possible, but, we've had more than one person say, why isn't the Thom Abraham show hanging out at the ballpark next week during that game? But we'll see. Well, you never know what might happen. You never know. All right, man. Appreciate
we'll figure something out.
Yeah. Appreciate you. Thanks. Should I at least ask? Why not, right?
Yeah.
I mean, should I at least ask? That's all I ask.
They got a nice little area. You can be right
underneath
the
they got plenty of spots.
You got plenty of spots.
They got plenty of places to put me. I'm sure we can find a place to be. I might reach out. All right, let's get a break. When we come back, Alabama State games, which is in a way kind of like your, family reunion picnic. Some of these games that they've got, but they should play at a high level. We'll talk about it next, right here on the Thom Abraham Show, 97.7 ESPN, The Zone.
Number one, I think they really need to address that position in the draft, even if it's the first round pick or throughout the draft. But they have a problem there.
Where's your first round pick?
25.
25. So you're gonna have to move up to get one of the top two corners, right? And we all think that Witherspoon and Gonzalez are going to go 1 and 2 in some order. Yeah. They're both gone by 15.
Manuel Forbes is a name. Deontay Banks is a name. But other than those four guys, it seems like kind of a drop off after that.
I think there's.
I love their front seven though. Their front seven is solid to me. With Dexter Lawrence, Little Williams, Kayvon Thibodeau, Bobby Okereke, who they brought in free agency, and Azeez Ojulari. I really love their front seven.
I think Kayvon Thibodeau is going to take a massive leap in his second year, too. A massive leap for him. So, look, I think there's a lot of reasons. Like I said, I don't think they hit the floor. But But the floor is everything bottoms out for me. All right. So in the meantime, while we're having these NFL conversations, we just said the Browns could be in playoff or bust mode. They're not the only team in that situation. We'll break down several teams that could be in all or nothing. They're in playoff or total rebuild mode in this season. We'll tell you about it next. Fitz and Harry on ESPN Radio.
Coming up Thursday, which NBA Finals team from last season is more likely to not make it back? Warriors or Celtics? Keyshawn, J. Will, and Max, 6 a.m. Eastern, ESPN Radio, ESPN2, ESPNU.
This is Fitz and Harry on ESPN Radio.
Hey everyone, it's Adrian Wojnarowski, host of the Woj Pod, where you'll get interesting conversations with the NBA's top newsmakers.
When I started thinking front office, I went all in front office.
Including the game's bright stars of today.
Here with Celtics star Jason Tatum. Jason, how are you?
I'm doing good. How you doing?
You're listening to the Thom Abraham Show on 97.7 ESPN The Zone.
Not looking or feeling your best? No energy for the things you like to do? Ready to look and feel younger? Make your appointment at Advanced Life Clinic, one of the region's foremost destinations for patients interested in looking and feeling their best. Specializing in advanced laser treatments and weight loss, male and female rejuvenation to offset the effects of aging, and more. See how Advanced Life Clinic can help you enjoy your life again. Call 256-882-6555 or log on advancedlifeclinic.com.
Hey folks, Bobby White back again for Woody Anderson Ford. If you've been considering owning a new Mustang, Explorer, Expedition, Edge, Escape, or Bronco Sport, we have 0% financing for 60 months on 22 models of those vehicles. This won't last long because as we sell off our 2022s, 0 for 60 goes with it. When they're gone, they're gone. Let me repeat, Woody Anderson Ford has 22 models of Bronco Sport.
Thom Abraham Show. I have a little technical issues. They're in the broadcast mega center, but we do have our next guest joining us here to talk a little bit about the Alabama State Games. Griffin Pritchard is with the Alabama State Games, and they're coming up on June 9th through the 11th in Birmingham, and he joins us now on the Neighbors Wealth Management Hotline. Griffin, welcome to the show. How are you?
Hey, I am fantastic. Thank you all for having me.
I appreciate you joining us here, and let's talk about this a little bit. The 2023 Alabama State games now are coming up, and explain to the listeners what this is like. Because I said, in a way, sometimes this feels a little bit like your summertime family reunion with some of the games that you're playing. There's everything but bocce ball in this deal, and who knows, maybe bocce ball will be in it at some particular point in time. But explain to people how this all came about.
We have started a list of sports to consider, so I'll add that one.
Bocce ball, there you go. Can't do jarts because they're illegal now, so you can't do jarts, but certainly bocce ball will come. But talk a little bit about how this all come about.
So the Alabama State Games, we're the nation's second oldest Olympic-style games program. We were started in 1982 at the request of the U.S. Olympic Committee and have grown and thrived ever since. This year is our 40th anniversary, so really big event for us. We are offering 25 sports at venues across the city of Birmingham and greater Jefferson County. Registration is ongoing right now, and through the 21st, we have extended our early bird registration pricing, so everything is discounted.
Yeah, so how do people get registered if they want to participate in some of these things?
Oh, it's easy. Go to alagames.com. It's ALAGAMES.com. You can find everything. And the way we have it set up, this is one of the things that's really cool about the way we present our sports to people is when you go to a sport, we have all the information about that event. Registration, link, tournament director, who to contact if you have questions, where it's going to be played.
So that makes a lot of sense. Now, I do notice that baseball is in there, but it has a little asterisk next to it. What's going on with baseball in the Alabama State games?
So baseball is 2 different venues. 3 different venues, actually. Mm-hmm. So we have the 13-year-olds are going to be played in Gardendale at Bill Noble Park. I think that's the name of it.
All right.
The 14 through 18s are going to be played in Birmingham at Rickwood and at Cooper Green. So we have it broken up that way. And that's really one of the newer way we're presenting the event is we're splitting it up. You know, giving folks the opportunity to come and play at Rickwood is an enormous. I mean, Rickwood is a historic park. I mean,
oh sure. Yeah.
I mean, just you know, Google it. I mean, just the famous faces that have played there, and just the fact that it is integral to the part of not only Alabama history, not only Alabama baseball history, but Major League Baseball history.
Yeah.
And we're going to be there and give these kids this opportunity.
But it's only up to 18-year-olds, so that's 14 to 18. You said 3 venues. Is there a division for over 18-year-olds too, or is it just the 14 to 18 and then the 13 and under?
You know, in most of our events, we have masters is kind of the nice way of saying older, but this one we're doing up to 18U.
Mm-hmm. So, is there a pre-qualification? Is it just something like people could say, we're gonna go and enter the games, or is there something like in some of these other things like archery or diving or what? I've got a daughter that was a diving champion in high school, and but she's I don't know the last time she was on the board, but yeah, I wonder how do they? Yeah, that's true. How do they get involved?
If you're doing it gracefully or not?
Yeah. So
how do they get involved?
Yeah,
literally, you go and register. This is our events are for all ages, all abilities. You know, inside the state, out of the state. This is just a great opportunity for kids, adults, those somewhere in between. Show up, show out, have a good time, chase a gold medal, chase a memory, chase a moment, and be a part of something historic. There's only going to be one 40th Alabama State Games, and we want to make this one memorable. And we are expecting 6,000 participants for this event.
My producer wanted to do the baton twirling, but he's not sure whether he's quite ready for that yet. You know, the baton twirling may be a little more sophisticated than what he is. He's an amateur baton twirler himself,
Hey, we have
but I'm not sure.
divisions.
Yeah, novice. Oh, he go into novice division. Okay, so he might put an eye out or something. That's what I worry about him. Up. Yeah, don't want to get his hopes up too much. Esports.
We don't allow throwing in that one. He'll be fine.
Esports has got to be a big thing these days, right? How long has esports been involved in the Alabama State game?
First year, brand new event. We're incredibly excited about esports being a part of what we're doing. And it shows, too, how the games are adapting with what's going on and with what is going on in society. You know, esports is huge. The High School Athletic Association brought it into their championship system a few years ago. You know, we're giving it a run this year. We're playing Super Smash Brothers. It's a game everybody pretty much knows. It's one of the core esports games, and we expect a big turnout for it.
So that's something that people compete, these esport leagues and stuff like that. Grizz, you know what this Super Smash, you know what this is, Grizz? I mean, you're my esports guy. Do you know what this
of course I know Super Smash. I grew up ever since the first game came out. I've probably owned, I think I've owned all of them. I have the recent one. Bandy is really good at it as well. We go out of toe-to-toe.
Oh, is he?
He's in here. He's a big nerd, so he definitely knows a lot about that game. He knows way too much about just the gaming in general.
We should talk to him and
Captain Cool. Go to allegations.com.
Yeah, get Bandy Man and Captain Cool, our guys from over at the Blitz. We got two young guys that do a show on the Blitz every afternoon. Those guys should be entered into the Alabama State games, and then they can share the experience. Yeah, share the experience with their listeners on the air, and that'll be cool as well. Ninja Challenge. Tell me about that one a little bit.
So Ninja Challenge is one that's near and dear to our hearts. The Athlete of the Year was the Ninja Challenge gold medal. He unfortunately passed away before the first of the year.
Wow.
So to honor him, and this is kind of, we're stepping away from Jefferson County for this event, we are renaming our Ninja Challenge, and we'll be sending out press releases and stuff about that in the coming weeks, and moving the event to his home gym in Huntsville.
Really?
Yeah, so we're competing. We're bringing that event. Everything else is going to be in Birmingham, Jefferson County. The participants in that event will attend the opening ceremony at Bartow Arena on June 9th, but the event will be competed on Sunday, I think, at his gym in Huntsville.
Do you know what the name of that gym is in Huntsville?
Top of my head, I do not.
Okay.
But I mean, I'll get it to you.
Yeah, because my son-in-law owned one of the Ninja gyms here for years. I think ultimately he sold it, but they had it there over on the North Parkway for several years. So there's bowling, disc golf, equestrian, judo, pickleball. Somebody was talking to us the other day saying they competed in the Alabama State games in pickleball the last go-round. Shooting sports. I think the shooting sports is probably where I would fall at this age. At this point in time, I think shooting sports is something that I would be involved in.
Well, let me go back to pickleball for a second. Really excited about pickleball. Our 2022 Athlete of the Year, Adult Athlete of the Year, Tim, is a pickleballer. He's going to be playing this year. The dude's a hoot. I mean, he is one of these guys that within 5 minutes, you're laughing and want to be his best friend type guys.
Yeah.
We're going to have him mic'd up for pickleball. It's the first time we're doing that. We're going to let him go out there and be himself and play and see if he can win a gold medal.
What is Miracle League?
So Miracle League is another one of those near and dear events. It is for differently abled individuals who have a love for the game of baseball but suffer challenges in the ability to play it. They come together. They have a special field. It's fun. It's feel good. It's tug at the heartstrings. It's just a great environment watching those kids play.
And then finally flag football. I was going to say, finally, the flag football. This is something that I would think. Now, what are the ages for that? Because this is something you would think that maybe some high school football teams would want to do.
This one is all ages. We're promoting it. It's through a partnership with NFL Flag.
Right.
So we're promoting it to, the youth teams that play flag, the high school teams that play flag. I know, like, flag football, it's a female sport, according to the High School Athletic Association, is huge in your area, in your coverage area. So we expect to see some of those teams come out and play. Intramural teams that, play essentially beer league during college come out and actually compete for a gold medal.
Mm-hmm.
It's a chance to literally show up and show out and have a good time.
I wonder if any high school tackle football teams, that do 7-on-7s and things like that in the summertime anyway, it would seem like a great opportunity for them to go out and compete at something that, they're throwing, they're catching, they're running. There's still all of those aspects that are involved.
Yeah. For, your public school and your private school teams. I mean, this is literally a 7-on-7 camp because flag football for the most part is passing. And instead of playing two-hand touch or grabbing flags. But it would be a great opportunity for them to come out and get some work.
In the wrestling, is scholastic rules or is that like a freestyle wrestling?
So wrestling, we're offering 3 divisions. We're talking freestyle, folk style, and Greco. And it's interesting to see the participation numbers. Of course, folk style is what the high schools do here.
Yeah.
So those numbers are growing, but slowly we're seeing Greco numbers and we're seeing freestyle numbers, inch up the charts. But again, and one thing too is we're partnering with Alabama Girls Wrestling Alliance to offer an individual girls wrestling tournament that's going to run side by side with the boys.
That's going to be cool.
It will be, girls only in the brackets. The weight classes are a little bit different, and you have to go to our website, look at the rules to see what the weight classes are. They're not what we have in high school. They're essentially youth weight classes.
Good stuff,
but
man. All right, so
it's a good opportunity to come out, get some work in, wrestling, baseball. You look at all these things that are huge in the Tennessee Valley area, in the Birmingham area. It's a great opportunity for them to step up and show how competitive they are and to show how much having our event in their backyard means to them.
So go to alagames.com. That's alagames.com to get your team registered or become part of the Alabama State Games. 40th annual Alabama State Games, all the way going back to 1982. And it's June 9th through the 11th in Birmingham, Jefferson County area, different venues. Griffin Pritchard has been our guest. Griffin, I appreciate you, man. Good stuff.
Hey, thanks, y'all, for having me.
All right, thank you. All right, so there you go. So, Grizz, I had a guy, I wrestled a kid in high school. I was a senior. He was a sophomore at the time. I beat him for the City Catholic Championship at 177. No, wait a minute. I was a junior. He was a sophomore. Anyway, I beat him in front of a packed gym, beat him for the City Catholic Championship. He went on to the Olympics to be Olympian Greco-Roman wrestler, though. A Greco-Roman style wrestler. So, maybe you can get into Greco-Roman, the upper body, type of wrestling.
I mean, I remember Robbie MacArthur. He was a Australian Olympic alternate, and he would come to practice and just during the summer, during the off season, and just beat the crap out of us. I mean, just make us better wrestlers. But he was like, he could do any. I mean, he literally could wrestle in any style. He could teach you any style. I mean, it was. I've not done more than freestyle. I don't know if I have the upper body strength for it, man. I mean, I always looked bigger than a lot of people out there. But there was a lot of people that looked bigger than me, but they were about as strong as me. So I don't know. I'm kind of wiry. I'm not as big, when it comes to the getting up. I wasn't very good getting off my back. I've been pinned a couple of times. So
I was pinned once, but I wouldn't do good in Greco either. I was because I was on the ground a lot. I was on the ground.
And once
I got pinned leading a match 15-4. I was leading a match 15-4, and I started screwing around with the kid. And I was letting him up, and I would take him down again, and letting him up, and take him down again, and screwing around with him. And he caught me, and he just caught me in a quick move, and it was so quick, it was over. Bam, snap, and I'm pinned. It's not like professional wrestling, people, where you just bang your hand on the ground 3 times. It was just all of a sudden I was on my back, like a roach, and boom, I was pinned.
Yeah,
and my coach told me you should never play with a fish. All right, you finish him off. Here I am. This happened 50 years ago. Not 50 years ago. This happened 40 years ago. 45 years ago. This happened 45 years ago, and here I am, still resonating in my ears. Never play with a fish. Coach Popovich told me that. Not the guy the basketball coach. Yeah, he was my wrestling coach, Terry Popovich. Never play with a fish, and I never did again. So didn't win all the time, but I sure as heck didn't get pinned. That's for sure.
Yeah, that was the one thing about it. Referees a lot of times in wrestling had that. There were some people that would give you an extra time. They'd be floating that hand right underneath your shoulder, and then there'd be some as soon as you hit the mat, they just smacked the mat and you're pinned, and it was like, what? What are you talking about? You gotta watch where you're at. Yeah.
All right. Before we get to the calls, Steve Moulton did the work for me. He went and found Paul Feinbaum's response to what Mike Griffith had said. I played earlier just a snippet of what Mike said about the West versus the East.
I think you got to look at the West and wonder what's going to happen between LSU and Alabama. And my goodness, things have been quiet at Texas A&M, especially considering the hire. Somehow or another, they've kept everything under wraps there, and they might quietly be a threat. The West is certainly intriguing, and it may prove to measure up to the East. It's been a while, though. It's been a few years since we've seen a Western Division team win the SEC title.
Yeah, exactly one. So this was Paul Feinbaum's response to that.
Mike Griffith, wow, a lot to digest here on a Tuesday afternoon. Many thanks, Mike. Always great to see you. So you heard what Mike had to say. I don't need to reiterate or regurgitate everything he said about Nick Saban. We'll get you an opportunity to react when we come back.
Yeah, so he let the listeners do his heavy lifting. Why didn't Paul just call him out right when he said it? When Griffith
he never does.
Why? But he should have. When Griffith.
It's been a few years since we've seen a Western Division team win the SEC title.
But that's right then. He said, "What are you talking about, Mike?" It's been, Georgia won last year, and that's the second time in 14 friggin' years that the East has won it. And they won last year. 2 years ago, Alabama won an SEC championship. How could you not call that guy out? Oh, wow. Well, you heard. I don't have to reiterate it. I'm reiterating it.
It's been a few years since we've seen a Western Division team win the SEC title.
You need to reiterate, and then you need to call him out. Whoa. I mean, that's right there. Whoa. Hold on there, big boy. What do you mean it's been a few years? All right, phone lines go open next. Thom Abraham Show, 97.7 ESPN, The Zone.
This is Wes Neighbors with Philip with Eagle Insulation, and we have an announcement to make.
Yes, Wes, we are now Eagle Masonry and Insulation. We're still a place to call for your insulation needs, but now we offer masonry services.
What kind of masonry projects can you handle?
Wes, no job is too big, no job is too small. We can do renovations, new construction, outdoor fireplaces, fire pits, brick landscape borders.
Well, when you came out to my house, you did both the insulation and masonry at the same time. You guys did rock for me, you did brick for me, and you insulated my house. That's usually done at the same time that you're building a house.
Absolutely. It really capitalizes on two services you need at the same time, and you can get one company to handle both of those.
Philip with Eagle Insulation will come out, do your installation. He'll do your masonry. They do a great job. They guarantee your work. Check out more online at insulatewitheagle.com and schedule your free examination today. 256-755-1556.
Thanks, Wes.
I'm attorney Gary Lackey. You know, you'll hear people say we're like a family, but here at the Lackey Law Firm, that's really true, not just a saying.
I'm Justin Lackey. With my father and my sister, we have a special connection to each other.
I'm Jennifer Lackey. At the Lackey Law Firm, when we take on your case, you become part of our family. You really do.
And we'll always do whatever it takes to get everything you deserve.
If you're injured, you worry about getting well, not about paperwork or insurance companies or figuring out how to get to your lawyer's office. I'll come to you.
We worry about your case so you don't have to.
When you've been injured, we know that your case is probably the biggest thing going on in your life. More important than almost anything else.
And it's important to us too, for one simple reason. Family takes care of each other, and at the Lackey Law Firm, we'll take care of you.
The Lackey Law Firm. The Lackey Law Family. 1-800-4-RIGHTS.
No representation is made that the quality of the legal services to be performed is greater than the quality of legal services performed by other lawyers.
It's an amazing time in our industry. Things are changing so rapidly. With digital signatures and workflow software, we help our customers work from anywhere. This helps you save time and money and upgrade your technology. Like I said, it's an amazing time to watch our customers grow and succeed.
Just ask anyone. The Liosi Group.
You've got to experience Toyotathon at Bill Penny Toyota. They've got the selection with over 700 new Toyotas to choose from. And they've got the extras with Bill Penny perks and a 10-year unlimited warranty. So get on over to Bill Penny Toyota today and experience Toyotathon. Bill Penny Toyota in Huntsville and online at BillPennyToyota.com. Bill Penny's Toyota 10-year unlimited warranty is valid through the 10th year of ownership. Valid on new vehicles only. See dealer for details.
When I chose a garage door company, I did my homework. I needed Precision Overhead Garage Door Service. They have a 5-star Google rating. I checked their reviews and liked what their customers had to say. Precision Overhead Garage Door has lifetime warranty packages. Same-day service if I call before 2 p.m. If they can't make it the same day, my service call fee the next day is waived. They did a 25-point safety inspection on the door and operator. Now that's peace of mind. Residential, commercial, and gate services. Precision Overhead Garage Door Service. Call 256-400-4500.
T-minus 3, 2, 1. Trash Panda Nation, ignite the fun. Let's rock it.
Your Rocket City Trash Pandas are back next Tuesday, April 18th for a 6-game homestand against the Biloxi Shuckers. Promotions include 2 bobblehead giveaways open and close the week, the first day game of the season on Wednesday, and dance night on Thursday. Reserve your seats now at TrashPandasBaseball.com.
Let's rock it.
Gunner's Landing is one of the Tennessee Valley's finest golf experiences. Just 35 minutes from downtown Huntsville, Gunner's Landing's 18-hole championship Jewel is open to the public 7 days a week. Located in the foothills of the Appalachian Mountains, Gunner's Landing offers you a golf experience like no other. With beautiful Lake Gunnersville views throughout the round, Gunner's Landing is golf the way nature intended. Gunner's Landing's Club Repair Shop offers a full range of services, including re-gripping and adjusting the lofts and lies of your clubs, even putters. Since the work is done in-house, your clubs will be returned to you in a timely manner. Unmatched in the North Alabama area, it is Gunner's Landing. Schedule your tee time today at GunnersLandingGolf.com. That's GunnersLandingGolf.com.
TOC Sports has been there for you. Now, you're probably asking yourself, what does that mean? It means for more than 20 years, Alabama's largest orthopedic group has been there providing coverage and care to more schools and student athletes in the Tennessee Valley than any other group. It means whether you are the star football player, the all-region volleyball ace, or someone who hurt their knee in a weekend pickup basketball game, TOC Sports physicians are proud to have the opportunity to care for all your orthopedic needs. It means for parents, coaches, athletes, desk jockeys, or even weekend warriors, TOC Sports physicians continue to meet and exceed the orthopedic and sports medicine needs of our community. But most importantly, during these challenging times, we're here for you now. and will continue to be here. So as long as there are players on the field, games to be played, and contests to be won, the orthopedic specialists from TOC Sports will be ready to help. We don't know what the future holds, but you can count on the TOC Sports team to stay committed to you so you can stay in the game. Call 256-539-2728 today and ask to see a TOC Sports physician. Check them out online, also Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram.
From the Fox 54 Weather Center, I'm Chief Meteorologist Jordan Dressman. A beautiful Wednesday across North Alabama, southern Middle Tennessee. We're talking about a mostly sunny sky. Temperature should have no problem climbing into the mid-70s, dropping into the lower 50s as we head into the overnight early into your Thursday morning. We're going to begin to see an increase in cloud cover through the middle and later part of Thursday morning. We're also going to begin to introduce the opportunity for a little bit of rain across the Tennessee Valley. We'll maintain the opportunity at least for some scattered showers and thunderstorms through a good chunk of Thursday afternoon, and then even as we head into Thursday evening. I'm Chief Meteorologist Jordan Dressman on your home for ESPN Radio, 97.7 ESPN The Zone.
Segment brought to you by Valley Equipment Rental. For all your rental needs, it's Valley Equipment Rental. Growing by leaps and bounds. Check out Valley Equipment Rental's 2 locations to make sure that you get the equipment you need to get your job done like a pro. Not only servicing the contractors in the area, but also servicing you, the homeowner, as well. And they've got great deals down there, and they've got more skid steers and excavators and everything than anybody else in the market. And they're local. I mean, that's what we want to keep a emphasis on, the fact that they are local. Ross Roberts has put together a great team of people down there at Valley Equipment Rental. All right, Grizz, so what is the name of this thing that you created for the hoops? Again, did 97.7 ESPN The Zone what? I mean, it's like
97.7 ESPN
97.7
NBA Playoff Challenge.
NBA, okay, all right. So now it popped up. All right, so now I can join the group.
Yeah, because I don't want to send the link out because people might get confused.
No, you got to use the actual link. Okay, so I am now in. So me and you and Steve are now in the NBA bracket challenge. Did you at me in it? Have you posted that on the Twitter yet?
I have not posted it yet.
Okay.
We've been dealing with some stuff, you know.
Oh, that's right. You've been dealing with other issues there. When you get it up on the Twitter,
right now.
That'll be good as well. So we've got some guys that have gotten into the hockey one. We're gonna have a hockey one and an NBA one, and they're brackets. It's like a Sweet 16. It's a bracket. And they do not reseed, so you'll be able to make your brackets out. Apparently, you can already make out the basketball one. You won't be able to make the hockey one out until Friday. So this is a exercise in a social study. Get those 2 knuckleheads in there that are getting ready to do the show on the Blitz. Get them to get in as well.
Copy that.
All right, that's going to do it for us today. Fought through some stuff. I had some technical things going on here at the Big Dog Production Studio as well. We're trying to get through all of that stuff. But we made it through. Coming up next is the Paul Feinbaum Show, where he better challenge the stupid comments made by Mike Griffith. And then The Drive. They got an interesting show coming up. Eli Gold will be on. You can get an update on Eli's condition on The Drive later on tonight as well. This is 97.7 ESPN The Zone.